Hello, in this Minecraft modpack development video, we're going to be going over how to use the KubeJS entity events.spawned event in Minecraft 1.21.1 KubeJS NeoForge. We will explore how to intercept when any entity is added to the world, including naturally spawning mobs, entities from spawners, and so on and so forth. This is especially useful if you are building custom modpack and want to remove, replace, or control mob spawning logic on the server side. This video and my modpacks are brought to you by BisectHosting. I will be giving more information about their services later in the video. But for now, let's get started. So as an overview, EntityEvents.spawned is triggered every time an entity is added to the world. This includes naturally spawning mobs, mobs from spawners, and mobs loaded from saved chunks. This event is very useful because it gives you access and full control to the entity in the world. You can cancel the spawn, you can allow or disallow, and you can replace or modify the entity. But we're going to be going through three basic examples here. So the first one is we're going to go over a basic script structure with the goal to cancel all zombie spawns. So we do this by first the entity events.spawned event here. We're going to pass an event, do our arrow, and then inside the callback here, we're going to define two constants. So the first is going to be what the entity is. So we're going to call it constant entity. That's going to be equal to event.getEntity. So this simply gets whatever entity is spawned into the world. Next is optional, but you're probably going to be able to use it in a more advanced example, so I will introduce it here, is get level. So we're going to do, in the levels, basically what world you are in. So we're going to do constant level equals event.getLevel. So now that we have this set up, especially the entity, we want to see if it is a zombie. So we're going to do that using an if statement. So if entity, again, from our declaration on line 2, dot get type, if that is equal to Minecraft zombie, we're going to do two things. And I recommend you test out this script in your world and replace it with whatever mod that you want. But here we're going to make it real easy for you to debug. So we're going to type in console.log, and then we're going to say zombie tried to spawn at, and here we're going to introduce three more methods from entity. So first is entity.getX, and this is self-explanatory. It is the X coordinate that the mob spawns at. Entity.getY, again, self-explanatory. That is the Y coordinate in which the mob spawns. And then finally, entity.getZ. That is the Z coordinate where the mob spawns. Okay, and so you're going to be able to look at this through logs slash QJS slash server.log. So I recommend you try this in a custom mod pack or whatever you're working on, and reload the script and see it on your log. But this isn't exactly going to work. It's going to say where the mob tries to spawn at, but now we need to do event.cancel. And you may have seen this before with block events and such. This line actually cancels the mob, in this case the zombie, from spawning. So this is our first example here. Again, I recommend you try this out with other things. Obviously, if you want a list of mobs that you want to prevent from spawning, you can do a loop in an array. But for now, the simple example suffices. Again, as a brief review, event.getEntity returns the entity being added. And not like what mob it is, but like the entity itself, so the UUID. Event.getLevel gives access to the world, in other words, the level the entity is spawning in. Event.cancel immediately prevents the entity from being added to the world. Entity.getX gets the X coordinate that the entity spawns at. Entity.getY gets the Y coordinate the mob is spawning at. And finally, entity.getZ gets the Z coordinate that the mob is spawning at. And obviously, when I'm talking about entity here, I'm referring to this entity that I declared on line 2. Before we continue with 2 other examples, I would like to give a shout out to my server hosting partner, BisectHosting. They offer great Minecraft server hosting as well as 80 other top online games. You can pre-install over 2,000 Minecraft modpacks automatically. So basically, any relevant mod pack that you can think of is there. They offer 24/7, 365 support to help troubleshoot your server and mods. You have full file access, and you can host your server from across 20 secure locations around the world. So again, thank you to BisectHosting for supporting my channel and my modpack development. This is a great service. I use it on a personal level, and I can't say enough. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you check out my link in the description below, and that will bring you to their website here that gives you this information as well as lots of useful, informative lines of text that will help inform a possible purchase that aligns with your budget and the amount of people that you want to have a server on. So again, thank you to BisectHosting for supporting my channel. Now let us move on to our second example here, where we're going to block all hostile mobs. So this script is going to stop zombies, skeletons, creepers, etc. from spawning at all. So this is perfect for like a peaceful or custom challenge map. Obviously, if you just want peaceful, then you can just make it the peaceful game mode, but this is a good example nonetheless. So we're going to start with our similar declaration here, EntityEvents.spawned event. And then inside this, again, we're going to get our entity using constant entity equals event.getEntity. So you're in basically any EntityEvents.spawned script. This is probably the first thing you want to put there. So now we want to use get some Boolean conditions here in our if statement. So we want to see first, we want to check if the entity is a mob, because not all entities are mobs. Some are minecarts, some are boats, etc. So first we want to see if entity.isMob. And then if that's the case, we want to further proceed to and entity.isAggressive. Two S's. So again, first it's going to check to see if it's a mob. If it's not a mob, it will immediately exit the block. But if it is, we need the second check to see if it is aggressive. But regardless, inside that, we want to cancel the spawn. So with the same method that we did earlier. So again, recommend you try this out. This is a useful example to understand the Booleans. And then finally here, and I think this is a pretty cool application to it. We want to replace mobs with something else. So the first thing I'm going to do, first example I want to do in this script is to replace skeletons with strays as they spawn. And that's quite simple. So entity events.spawned event. Again, we're going to do the same thing as we did in our first example. We need to declare both our entity we're using event.getEntity, and then our level using event.getLevel. And now that we have that set up, we want to, again, check to see if the entity type is a skeleton, because that's what we want to replace the mob with. So if entity.getType, that is equal to Minecraft skeleton, because again, we have to use the IDs. We want to do two things. First, we want to actually replace the mob. So the easiest way to do that is to do level. We need our level declaration here now. Level.server.run command silent. So this is going to execute a command, but you're not going to actually see it in the chat, because that would be quite annoying if you constantly saw the command that was being executed. But regardless, we need to do it's going to be a more complex string. So we're going to do summon Minecraft, in this case stray, and then we need to do our dollar sign curly brace method here. Then we're going to put entity.getX. As you can see, that proves useful now. And then again, we're going to do entity.getY. And then we're going to do entity.getZ. So immediately when that happens, it's going to spawn a stray. But now we want to actually cancel the skeleton spawn, so we're going to do that with event.cancel. So again, I recommend you try this out. Another example of this, let's say we want to replace spiders with cave spiders. Well, that's real easy. That's just copy and paste. We want to replace spider with cave spider. And again, you can apply this in many different ways. I recommend you work with this and come up with another example yourself. So again, some key takeaways from the video. EntityEvents.spawned triggers for all entities being added to the world. You can access the entity, level, and sometimes the player. You can use cancel to control the outcome. Useful and is useful for mob control, custom logic, and modpack balancing. If you found this tutorial helpful, do not forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. Again, thank you to BisectHosting for sponsoring this video. Use the link in the description to get started with server hosting. It's perfect for modded Minecraft, and they support automatic installation for thousands of mod packs. Please reach out if you have any questions regarding this video. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and have a great day.